Hello students, welcome to Power Tutorials. So I'll welcome you all to my channel who are visiting for the first time. So hope this video is mainly for the students who have recently completed their 9th class and they're entering the 10th class and they're going to have their board exam in March 2027. Okay, so for them for their point of view, I'm starting with this video, and as currently it is in holidays, so I just want to cover few important chapters. Mainly the weightage is more like trigonometry, and then after trigonometry we're going to triangles, and then we'll also cover surface areas and volume. So these three chapters which I want to target by this summer, so that we'll try to cover at least most of the topics of these three chapters, and then once we'll start with the actual curriculum, we'll again start with the first chapter, which is from the real numbers. Okay, so before starting, I welcome you all once again. Okay, so for every video, most of the video I will try to have an agenda first, so that by this end of this video I'll try to complete those topics which are planned for this video, and then whichever is remaining I'll try to cover in the next videos. Okay, so mostly every Saturday you will find at least one live video session from my channel, which will be mostly on maths and on also of science class 10, which is of NCERT class 10 textbook. So not only I cover the textbook questions, I also try to cover the other questions like previous year pages, previous year question papers, or else question bank series, or else few important concepts with respect to each and every chapter. So those also will cover one by one. Once all the respective chapters are done, at least by after October or November, we'll find more previous year questions, and with respect to exam point of view, will cover. But before October, I'll try to make sure that all the chapters with respect to the current curriculum are been explained. Okay, so in the today's agenda, the first thing I just want to explain you to, so that you guys can understand what is right angle triangle and what are the sides of it. We call it as adjacent, opposite and hypotenuse. So what is adjacent side, what is opposite side, and what is hypotenuse side, and how it is decided which is which side. So those things is the first topic. In the second topic, we're going to cover all trigonometric ratios with respect to sides. So trigonometric ratios are the sine, cos, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cot. So don't worry if you are new to this words, because if those anyway I'm going to cover in detail, and then we'll also understand or like start working today on trigonometric identities as well. This is one of the most important topic with respect to the class 10 board exam, because at least 3 to 4 marks weightage will be coming from this, and not only for this chapter, it is also used for the other chapter, which is heights and distances, that is application of trigonometry, also will cover. Okay, so before going to this chapter, let's just understand why there is a need to understand trigonometry. Not only for marks, yes, definitely for marks we study the subject, but make sure to understand why you are studying any specific chapter. Then you will definitely feel, yes, I'm learning something, because that is definitely useful for my life, or somewhere in my life, if I know this topic, is it helpful for me or something. So that is important, not only for this chapter, for any other chapter also. I'll try to make sure to understand what is application first, and then we'll go deeper to solve or analyze that application and solve it. Okay, so this is the first scenario which I'm talking about. First, suppose I have a boy on the road. Okay, so what is this boy doing? He is saying that I saw a I'm about suppose 100 meters from a building. So this is a building, and what he is saying that I am from 100 meters away from a building, and I am able to see the top of the building. so here we have a tower on the building as well. So he is saying that I'm able to see the top of the building by projecting my head from the horizontal with an angle of suppose 60 degrees. So he has a measurement of or an apparatus with him. So what he is saying that using like a particular compass or something, I am able to see the top of the building from my point as 60 degrees. So now what he is thinking is, so as I know the angle and I know the distance from this building, can I predict the height of this building without using any actual meters or the actual measurements? Okay, so this is the scenario where we use trigonometry. Because what the trigonometry states is, wherever you see in the real life applications like this, like we have a boy, we have a building, and he is saying that I am at the distance of 100 meters from this building, I am able to see the top of the building by projecting my head from the horizontal with 60 degrees, and he is saying that can I find this height of this building? Yes, you can find it using the trigonometric identity, which is one of the tan theta is one of the example. So what tan theta is there? It is the opposite side by adjacent side. So opposite side is nothing but the height of the building, and the adjacent side is the distance from the building, which you already know 100 meters. So by simply substituting the value of tan theta and then multiplying into 100, you can get the height of the building without any actual measurements. See, now you can understand not only him, by yourself also. If you just if you know the actual distance from a particular building, and if you are actually not accurately but at least half of the measurements you can do by your actual mind. Like if it is top is 90, the horizontal is this one, if you are able to see the almost at the mid angle of your head is, then you can understand that is 45 degrees. If you are able to see little not 45 degrees, little lower, then you can assume that the angle is somewhere around 30 degrees, and based on it you can estimate the height of the building. Okay, there are also actual measurements using which you can actually predict the exact measurement of the angle, and then using that angle without even going to the building or using any exact measurements, then you can easily find the height of the building. Okay, let's see another scenario. So another scenario is something like this. We have a building, and each building has each floor has a balconies on it. So we have a person here, say Ramesh. So what he is saying it, I am in the balcony of a building, and I know from my point to the bottom of the floor, I mean till the road, I can say the height, this height I know, and I'm okay. Or else he knows that the height of the building. Okay, let me just change this. He says that from his point to the bottom, I know that the height from my point to the bottom is h, and he says it is suppose 30 meters building. Okay, and he is saying that I am able to see a car which is on the ground, and I can estimate from my horizontal I am bending my head to an angle of 30 degrees. So can I know how to find the distance from the car to my building, or how far the car is there from the building? And if I know the actual average speed of the car, and if I know the distance, and I can also predict by which time the car will reach my building. Okay, hope it is interesting. So I will flip the scenario again. I have a building, I have a Ramesh who is on the top floor on the balcony, and he is saying that I am able to see a car which is coming towards the building, and currently if he is able to bend an angle of 30 degrees, he could able to see the car with respect to this horizontal. Okay, we have a separate namings for these things. For this, I call it as angle of elevation because I had to raise my head to see something, and here we call it as angle of depression because I had to bend my head. Then it is called angle of depression. But don't think about angle of elevation depression as of now, because that will cover anyway in the next chapter, where it is on applications of trigonometry, that is actually on the heights and distances chapter. Okay, so right now I'm just going to give a scenarios where the trigonometry is actually coming to picture, and why we have to understand trigonometry to solve these type of solution or problems in the real life scenario. Okay, so who are watching this video, if you have any doubts or if you are not able to understand, if you want to share any feedback, kindly mention your comments in the live section. I'll definitely check and respond to your comments. Okay, so these two are the scenarios. This is one of the examples as per the class 10, that is easy to understand, where it is something like a boy, he is on the ground and he is able to see the top of building, he knows the distance from the building, but he wants to get the height of the building. In that scenario, we have an example. Then another scenario, we have on the top, and he is seeing the car on the ground, and he knows the distance from the ground, and he wants to know the he knows the height of this building, and he wants to know like what is the distance of the car from the building. Okay, and this is also one of the example where we have to use trigonometry to find the distances. Okay, so now let's go to the agenda topic. So before going to the agenda, the trigonometry is mostly related to the right angle triangle. Okay, so what is right angle triangle? Which is having at least one angle as 90 degrees. One of the angle of a triangle should be 90 degrees, then it's an easy explanation that the triangle is nothing but a right angle triangle. Whereas equilateral and isosceles, those are different. Equilateral, all sides should be equal. Isosceles, two sides should be equal. What about right angle? One of the angle of the right angle of a triangle should be 90 degrees. Okay, so for right angle triangle, we have a specific theorem called Pythagoras theorem. This is very easy theorem. So what it is saying is square of hypotenuse is nothing but sum of squares of other two sides. Okay, so if this example, if you're considering what is hypotenuse is nothing but the longest side. Okay, so this is the longest side of this triangle, so AC is the longest side, which is R. So R square, that is square of hypotenuse, is nothing but sum of squares of other two sides. So what are other two sides? P is one of the length of other two side, and Q is the other side. So R square is equal to P square plus Q square. But if I want to write the exact lines, then it becomes hypotenuse anything but AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Okay, this is very important. But so if you know two sides of a right angle triangle, we can easily find the other side of a right angle triangle by using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, hope it's clear. Okay, now let's move to the next topic. Okay, so now based upon angle, I need to understand which is opposite side and which is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, anyway, we already know what is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is nothing but the longest side. I'll write it again. Longest side of a triangle, of a right angle triangle, is always the hypotenuse. But what about opposite side and adjacent side? Which is opposite and which is adjacent? So opposite side, so suppose we have an angle theta here. So which is opposite to it? This one. Which is opposite to the angle is nothing but opposite side. So if you know hypotenuse, which is opposite side, we can easily understand which is adjacent. Which is nothing but the other side is adjacent. Or simply which is connecting the angle point and the hypotenuse. This line is nothing but adjacent side. Okay, so side opposite to the angle is nothing but opposite side. What about adjacent side? The line connecting the angle to hypotenuse. Repeating again, this is very important. You should understand what is opposite to the angle and what is adjacent to the angle. So I am repeating, opposite nothing but which is opposite to the angle. Like if you am point A, so which side I am able to see? I am able to see BC side. So this is opposite. What about adjacent? Adjacent is the line which is attaching, or the angle connection part is nothing but adjacent side. So in this scenario, what is opposite side? Opposite side is BC and the adjacent side is AB. So AC we already know which is the longest side of a triangle, which is hypotenuse. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, what about this triangle? What is opposite side and what is adjacent side? As I mentioned, the opposite to the angle. So here the angle we're talking about is here. So opposite to this is this one. So BC is the opposite side, and I'm sorry, it just so BC is adjacent side, and what is adjacent side is the one which is connected, so which is AB. AB is the adjacent side, and opposite side is opposite to this angle which is BC. Okay, hope you understood. If I provide, so as a homework, or whoever watching this video later, I want you guys to answer me what is opposite side and adjacent side for this triangle. So this is a rectangle triangle, and I have a theta here, and let me change the, it says as PQR. I want you guys who are watching this video later, or who are watching this video on the live now, I want you guys to answer what are adjacent side and opposite side in the comment section or in the live section comment section. Okay, this is a homework, and you guys have to answer, and you have to mention in the comment section, and definitely check and respond to you as well. Okay, now let's move to the other topic, which are trigonometric ratios. So for trigonometry we have total 6 ratios, which are sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cosecant, secant and cot. So if you remember at least one, I am sure with my learning you should able to find out other 5 ratios by your own. Okay, because we have to remember few angles which are starting from 0. We have to remember 30 degrees, we have to remember 45, 60 and 90 degrees. But just by heart at least one which is of sine. If you are able to remember sin theta, then I will easily tell you how to find out all other 5 ratios based upon the requirement. Okay, but before that let's not go dive into these angles first, and let's understand with respect to triangle, if sides are provided, how to find the other sides. Okay, let's focus on that part first. So now what I am saying is, I have a triangle like this. If I say this is theta, then this is A, B and C. So with respect to theta, what this will become adjacent side, and this will become opposite side, and the longest we already know, which is nothing but hypotenuse. Okay, so what is sin theta with respect to sides means sin theta, and don't always remember sin and theta not separate. Sin theta together is one word. If you say sin into theta is not correct. Okay, it is a sin theta. Sin theta means a sine of an angle. Okay, sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse, and the third theta is tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. So if you remember these three with respect to sides I am talking, then other 3 we can easily write, because those are nothing but the inverse of these 3. So cosecant, I will write it here, cosecant theta is hypotenuse by opposite side. Secant theta, I will write it here because it is inverse of cos. Secant theta is hypotenuse by adjacent side. The last one, cot theta, is inverse of tan theta, which is adjacent by opposite side. Okay, just remember these 3, the other 3 you can easily write it. Sine is opposite by hypotenuse, cosecant is inverse of sine, so it is hypotenuse by opposite. Cos is adjacent by hypotenuse, and secant is inverse of it, so that's why it is hypotenuse by adjacent side. And tan is opposite by adjacent side, and cot theta is inverse of tan, which is adjacent by opposite side. Okay, but while solving questions you can easily understand what I'm talking about. So in this question they are asking me what is sin theta, cos theta and tan theta. So sin theta, as I told, it is opposite side by hypotenuse. So this is theta here. What is opposite side to this theta? This one. So opposite side is 4, hypotenuse is 5. So sin theta answer is 4 by 5. What about cos theta? Adjacent by hypotenuse. Adjacent is this one, which is 3, hypotenuse is 4. So adjacent is this and hypotenuse is 5. So the cos theta value is 3 by 5. What about tan theta? Tan theta is opposite by adjacent. Opposite is 4, adjacent is 3. So the tan theta value is 4 by 3. For the same, I'll also write what is cosecant theta. Cosecant theta, as I told you, it is inverse of sine. Inverse of sine was 4 by 5, just reverse of it, 5 by 4. Five by 4 is cosecant. Next comes secant theta. Secant theta is inverse of cos, so it becomes 5 by 3. I'll choose another color and then I will write the values. Secant is 5 by 3 and cot is 3 by 4. Okay, so if a triangle is provided, if the specific angle is mentioned, then you can easily find out all 6 trigonometric ratios. Okay, see the next one. Now using Pythagoras theorem, and if you know one ratio, we should be able to find all other ratios. How I will tell you in this example. Okay, what they are saying, cos theta is 5 by 13. So let's mark a triangle first. Okay, I'll always mark theta from the baseline, that will be easy for me to understand. So cos theta is 5 by 13 they are saying, but we don't know the other side, and don't fix that it is 3 is the exact meter and 13 is exact meter, so it can also have some constant parameter, because the ratio is 5 by 13. It's not like 5 is the value, okay, but the ratio is 5 by 13. Okay, so same way you will find out first. Okay, let me mark in the triangle. If I say A, B and C, let me understand, or using Pythagoras theorem, let us find what is the value of BC. Okay, so what is the Pythagoras theorem? I told you, if in this question the Pythagoras theorem will be AC square, which is hypotenuse square, is equal to sum of squares of other two sides, which are AB square and BC square. So AC I am writing as 13. So 13 square is equal to AB is 5 square plus BC square. 13 square is 169, 5 square is 25, BC square. So I will get the value of BC as root of 169 minus 25, which is 144. So 144 square root value is 12. See, now I know what is opposite side, what is hypotenuse, and what is adjacent. So usually the other ratios formulas which I told us in the previous slide, just use them and get all the required values. So for this question, let me find out all 6 trigonometric ratios. Cos we already know, but still we will find out the other 5. So sin theta for this question will be opposite by adjacent. Opposite is 12, hypotenuse is 13. So sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse. Okay, so this way the answer is 12 by 13. What about tan theta? Tan theta is opposite by adjacent side. Opposite is 12, adjacent is 5. So the answer is 12 by 5. So now without triangle, I will write all other values, because cosecant I know it is inverse of sine. So cosecant theta is equal to 13 by 12. Secant theta is inverse of cos. Cos we know what is the cos value, 5 by 13. So secant is 13 by 5. Okay, and then cot is inverse of tan. So this way the cot value is 5 by 12. So by knowing one ratio, plot it in a triangle, get the other side, and then find out all other respective 5 sides. 5 trigonometric ratios. Okay, let's do the second question. If they are saying the tan A is 7 by 24, find all other ratios. So again, first of all, what I will do, the first point is we have to draw a right angle triangle and mark the sides. Tan A, or so this is A, tan A is opposite by adjacent side. Opposite is 7, adjacent is 24. So let us find out AC first. So AC becomes root of 7 square plus 24 square. 7 square is 49, 24 square is 576. So if I add these two, I will get root of 625, which is 25. So in this case I got the hypotenuse value which is 25. Okay, so now we know these two sides, so all other ratios you can simply find out. I'll write it here. Sin A is opposite by hypotenuse, so 7 by 25. Cot or tan A, tan A is already known, so cos A adjacent by hypotenuse, adjacent is 24, hypotenuse is 25. What about tan A we already know, so cosecant, okay, secant A if I want, it is inverse of cos, so simply answer 25 by 24, and cosecant is inverse of sine, so this way it is 25 by 7. Okay, so in the last one, cot A, I will write it here. Cot A is nothing but inverse of tan, which is 24 by 7. Okay, and this is the homework question. Here I have sin theta is 8 by 17, and you guys, I want you guys to solve and find out all other 5 trigonometric ratios. Okay, now let's move to the last topic for today. This is trigonometric identities. So in maths, that is in trigonometry, we have 3 trigonometric identities. The first one is sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Second, one plus tan square theta is equal to cosecant square theta, and third, 1 plus cot square theta is equal to secant square theta. One plus tan square theta is secant square theta. Okay, let me change the color. And 1 plus cot square theta is cosecant square theta. Okay, so I don't want to remember all 3, but if you remember only one, this is enough to figure out the other 2 ratios. How I will simply tell you. So what I will do is I will simply divide this first equation by cos square theta. I have the first equation is sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Divide both sides by cos square theta. So if I divide both sides by cos square theta, what it will become? Sin square theta by cos square theta plus cos square theta by cos square theta is equal to 1 by cos square theta. Sin square theta by cos square theta is nothing but tan square theta, because tan theta is sin theta by cos theta, plus cos square theta cancelled out, and this will become 1 by cos. I told you it is secant square theta. See, this is nothing but the second identity. 1 plus tan square theta is equal to secant square theta. Same way, if I divide this first equation again by cos square theta on both sides, so I have sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Now if I divide both sides by sin square theta. If I divide both sides by sin square theta, what this will become? Sin square theta by sin square theta plus cos square theta by sin square theta is equal to 1 by sin square theta. So sin square theta cancelled out, so it becomes 1 plus cot square theta is equal to cosecant square theta. This is nothing but the third identity. So that's why I will always say just remember 1, and then if you want you can write it, but you can also cross check whether your answer is correct or wrong. Okay, so make sure in your exam if you have doubt whether the second identity is correct or wrong, then just go for the first identity, write it, and then derive by yourself. It hardly takes 30 seconds to get your answer. No need to write it because you are just doing manual calculation, it will be faster. Okay, instead of going wrong with the faster, let's wait for at least 30 seconds, give our time, and then get the right answer. Okay, so these are the 3 identities, and this is very important. We will get the 4 marks or the 5 marks questions from trigonometry chapter. It will be mostly on these topics. I'm not saying that they will ask you give me the trigonometric identities. They will give you questions such that you have to use among these 3 to solve those your question. Okay. Okay, so as a last, now I will give you the table which I'm talking about. So totals big, it's a big table, that is it has 6 ratios in it. So here I'll say theta, and this is degree. Okay, here it is theta, and here it is ratio. Okay, so total 5 angles you have to remember, which are 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degrees. So here also I will tell a trick how to remember all these angles, because you don't need to by heart all 6. Okay, if you remember sine, that will be sufficient to write all values. Okay, sine 0 is 0, sine 30 1 by 2. Okay, let me change the color so that it will be interesting to remember. Let's write sine, cos, tan, cosecant, secant and cot. So if you are watching this and if you have a board exam in the 2027, make sure to not only see this video, and after this video just try whatever you learned today without seeing the video, and then cross check whatever you learned, then you will recollect what is happening. Okay, if you just see and just see understand that I have seen this video, then I have the confidence I can solve it, then no, maths is always only about practice. Whenever you write something in your notes and try to solve that question, then you will remember. If you just see the video, or if you just feel confident that I understood this, I can solve it, then no, you have to just write the question in your paper and solve it, then you will get the right answer. Okay, so now I'll change the color to this one. So sine 0 is 0. Okay, not much different. Let me use pink color. Sine 0 is 0, sine 30 1 by 2, sine 45 1 by root 2, sine 60 root 3 by 2, and sine 90 is 1. If you remember just these 5 values, then you can easily derive all the other values. Okay, cos theta is just write in the opposite way. So sine, I will just write in opposite way, 1 by root 2, 1 by 2 and 0. What about tan? Tan theta is nothing but sine by cos. Okay, 0 by 1 is 0, 1 by 2 by 1 by 3, root 3 by, so it becomes 1 by root 3, 1 by 2 1 by root 2, 1, root 3, root 2 by 2 by 2 gets cancelled, and this becomes infinite because 1 by 0 is undefined. Okay, from now cosecant, as I told you, it is 1 inverse of sine. So 1 by 0 is undefined, 1 by 2 becomes 2, this becomes root 2, this is inverse of root 3 by 2, so 2 by root 3, inverse of 1 is again 1. Secant, just write in opposite way with how I did for cos and sine, same way cosecant and secant works in that way. So it is 1 root 3 by 2, sorry, 1 2 by root 3 2 by root 3, root 2, 2 and infinite. For cot, we can write in both ways. Either we can just invert tan or write in reverse way. Both are correct. So this becomes infinite root 3, 1, 1 by root 3 and 0. Okay, so this is the main table. With respect to values, if they ask you in the questions, then if you remember this table, then you can easily solve that question. But if they ask you with respect to the like 1 sine square or cos square they have provided, and square type of questions are there, and using identities to solve, so for those questions you have to remember this. These three equations you can solve those questions. With respect to values, if they ask you questions, you have to remember this table. But I always say at least remember this first line, then by yourself you can hardly take 10 seconds to write the other values. But if you remember all, at least these three, then it is much more better, because the rest three are just the inverse of first three. So top three if you remember, then bottom three will remember. So by heart at least first line, and if possible by heart first three lines, then bottom three are no need to by heart. I always say just at least first line, and if you are well good and if your memory is good and you can keep on reading this first three, then it is more than enough. Just remember till first three, that is sine, cos and tan. Other three no need to by heart, you can easily derive by your own by taking just the inverse of it. Okay, so hope this video is helpful. So from by this topic I'm concluding this video. In the next video we are going to solve questions on the trigonometry ratios as well as the trigonometry questions related to values as well, which are 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. Okay, so thanks for watching. In the next video we are going to solve questions on the topics discussed today, and also I will also mention previous year questions from the board exam paper as well. So we will also understand what is the standard of questions they are asking in the main exam. Okay, but by first we'll start with the basic questions, small questions from like 2 marks, like MCQs also will cover, and then 3 marks and then 4 marks, and then we'll also see if any essay type of questions are coming from this chapter. Okay, so next video mostly next Saturday, or else if possible in the weekday, any one day I will try to have it, and if it is afternoon I'll try to have a live video, or else I will keep it a recording session, and that will be up in my channel around 8 p.m. if it is recorded session. If it is live session, we will have it a morning around, I can say like 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. At this timing you can have, I can schedule the live session. If not, the recorded session will have at 8 p.m. And again mostly every Saturday we'll have a live video session around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. as of today, and then we'll continue our questions, and also I want interactions. At the same time, in each day I am keeping 2 questions, that is MCQs, in the channel community section. So I hope most of the viewers are coming from using phone. So if you are using phone and using the channel, just go to the community section. Okay, so just click on my channel. There you can see we have a community or post section. Anyone you can find in the channel. So in this post section I am keeping questions with 4 options. Few can be very easy and few can be little moderate. So those are the level of which I am keeping in the post section. So there you can find maths MCQs and science MCQs. So till now I have kept maths 645 MCQ questions, and from science, that is from class 10 topics, excuse me, I have done 631 questions. Okay, just go to the community post section and try few questions. You will definitely feel interesting, and if you found, at least you can try 10 to 15 questions per day. That will be really interesting. If you know the topic, solve it. If not, once I cover the topic, I can go through those questions, you can attempt. Okay, so thanks for watching once again, and let's meet with another video where in the next video, as I mentioned, we'll cover with the questions related to these topics which I covered today. Okay, so welcome you all once again to my channel, and let's meet again with the next video.